All right, and there we go. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel. We love comics. Hopefully, you guys are doing well today. Today is Thursday, June 27th, 2024. Just a reminder, if anybody missed my live auction, believe it or not, I only have 8 comics left available for sale on that auction. Somebody contacted me last night who just received one of their auction comics that they paid for, just got it yesterday. So glad to hear that some people who paid in full are already getting their books and wanted to order another. So the Fantastic Four number 52, first Black Panther, has been sold, but there are about 7 or 8 comics left in the entire auction. So you have until tomorrow to be able to purchase any comics that are left over. Just watch the video that I did with an update a couple of days ago. Minus, of course, the Fantastic 452 and the Amazing Spider-Man I'm sorry, the Showcase number 22 that was on those update videos. Those have sold since then. So, um, extremely humbled by this whole situation. Very happy about that, but you still have until tomorrow to be able to make any offers on the comics that are in the auction for the current prices. And then, if prices go up, I'll do another auction in the next couple of months, but I wanted to give that information out. All right, let's get through the basic stuff. We got a new Patreon member, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close to 20. And once we get to 20 paid members, I start doing the giveaways each and every month. We have a minimum of 20 of the paid subscribers to my Patreon. So if you want to join my Patreon, just go to patreon.com/WeLoveComics. You can pledge whatever amount you want per month. And I think Patreon's minimum for anybody to join for any channel is $2. But what I do is, well, I'll get into that after that. Let's give the shout out to all our Patreon members that are currently on my Patreon. We got Carl, we got Sith, we got Scott, we got Michael B, Kevin W, James R, Herbert R, Darth Bleak, who would like to be known. If you have Facebook, go to Stephen L. Turk, author, who wrote a second book, and he actually wants to send me a signed copy. So, Darth Bleak, I would be honored to accept that wonderful gift that you would bestow upon me. So you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com if you are interested in still doing that. If not, hey, I appreciate even the thought. But if you have Facebook, go to Stephen L. Turk, author, and look him up and check out what his book is going to be all about. But let's also give a shout out to the most recent ones: Dan L., Kim N. And if you saw the video last night, you'll know what that was all about. And the one that was just I saw this morning, Annabelle N. So welcome, Annabelle, our newest Patreon member. So we are currently at 12. And like I said, if we can get to 20, I'm going to start doing contests. So from 20 paid members each month, from that point on, as long as there's at least 20, the first tier is a tier 1 unopened baseball pack that I will give away every single month. The more paid members, as you can see, there's different levels. There will be different and higher prices, giveaways that I'll be giving. So even if you won the first one, for example, that doesn't mean you're now excluded. You can have an entry the same as everybody else. Now, like I said, there is no minimum other than what Patreon requires, which is a $2 minimum, but you will get one entry in the contest for every $2 you apply to your monthly Patreon account with We Love Comics. So if you do $10 a month, you'll get 5 entries. If you do the 2, you'll get 1 entry. So you'll get an entry no matter what level you go into, but the higher the amount, the more entries you will get. Trading comics. I'm trying to acquire all the books you see on the screen. I would love to get an Amazing Fantasy 15. That's why I listed that number 1. But I'd be happy with any of those books. I do not have the cash to be able to buy one of those, and I also don't want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of taxes on a purchase like that, and also have the IRS come in on April 15th of next year with their handout asking for a percentage. You avoid all of that by doing a trade. So if you have any of these books, maybe you have an extra, Wonder Woman number 1, or maybe you have doubles of Amazing Fantasy 15. That would be awesome. And you want to do a trade so you don't have to worry about acquiring a bunch of books, and spending lots of money and going to different sellers and hoping they're honorable and hope they send them securely and quickly. Anybody that's dealt with me knows how I do business. As a matter of fact, like I said, one of the people that just paid for their auction win has already received their book, and another one, they should be getting it either today or tomorrow because I send them always out priority mail. So contact me, peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Let's make a trade happen. I did a video last week where I showed a bunch of graded books that I would be willing to trade. If it takes several of those books to get one of these, perfectly fine with that. In fact, I don't mind trading a little extra to get one of these, but I'm not going to give away thousands of dollars of comics. I want it to be where it's a fair trade for everybody. So if you get like 6 or 7 key comics for one of your key comics and it's mutually beneficial, let's make it happen. Let's show our viewers that you don't need money to acquire the things that you want to get in life. I mean, it helps to have money, of course, but I want to show people there's always alternative ways. So we got the video camera on. If you want a surprise subscriber shout out at the end of this video, all you have to do is be in the live chat. And we already got Lee Smith is first today. GT Key Comic, he beat you today, but he's here as well. And we also got Daniel Cochran. He's a person, I think he's ordered more comics for me and more key comics for me than anybody else. There's another person that's closing the gap a little bit. But Daniel, and by the way, and I'm going to open this afterwards. I got your package today, so I don't know what's in there. So I'll do kind of an unboxing with that one, but I'm not obviously going to give away any personal information. And I know you'll write personal information inside, so I'm going to be very careful when I open it. But we got Brian also in the house. Welcome. Always calling, watching from work. Brian, what do you do for a living? Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself fired, especially in this economy. So be very careful, but always appreciative of you being here. So this book, notice how they wrote fragile. Do not, well, according to that, it says do not either read or do not pend, but you know what it was supposed to say. Because I always tell people when you buy from eBay, don't assume the person knows or cares how to send books. I always message them and ask them, can you mail it in a box? I give a little explanation. I'm always, asking politely and everything. Not everybody listens, but like you could see here, many do. And that could be the difference between, getting the manila envelope of death, which I'm sure we've all experienced, and having a potential comic be destroyed, and actually getting the comic that you wanted. I also asked them if they can put cardboard in between. They did that. They also did bubble wrap, so very good job with this seller. Great communication. And as you could see in the title, and they put a bunch of cardboard on both sides, so they did exactly what I asked for. You can't ask for anything more than that. Great job with the seller. Now, the funny thing is, and I keep trying to show people if you change your mindset, and I hope you watched the video I did last night, because yes, it's going to be a long video, but I would like to think it's a very inspirational video. And if you've watched it, I'd love to hear your comments. One person commented just earlier this afternoon and really appreciated it. But if you start changing your mindset, you'd be amazed at how things all of a sudden just appear. It's not luck. I mean, I'm not that lucky. I try to win the lottery all the time. I buy scratch offs all the time. I don't win. So there's something to this if you put an effort into it. But I just recently sold this comic that I just acquired this year in my recent auction, and I was able to acquire another one a week later. Now, this is not the same high grade because, like you see on the thumbnail, and I'll show it really quick. So if anybody wants to comment on my AI art, I want to do more of an old school kind of style. But this has a little bit of a faded cover. It's major, but it's definitely faded. So I'm not sure what the grade will be because the rest of the comic looks amazing, but the Amazing Spider-Man logo is faded. If anybody wants to guess what it is now that they know it's an Amazing Spider-Man, think about all the books. If you watched my auction, think of all the books I sold recently that I bought this year. If you want to put it in the pause it and put it in the live chat or put it in the comment section, please do. But I'll show you right here. I acquired this again. So this is an Amazing Spider-Man number 238, first appearance of the Hobgoblin. You can see, I mean, it's not tremendously faded, but I mean, you can see the Amazing Spider-Man. The red's gone. The red is gone. It's kind of orangey. So it's not to the point. It's hard to see, I guess, on the camera. Maybe if it's closer, you could see. It's got like an orange to it instead of a red. So obviously somebody had this either in a comic book store in their home where it was up on a wall and basically sunlight killed the colors. But, I mean, just to show you, only the front is faded. Now, there are some non-color breaking creases, like right there. That can be pressed out. But look how clean. I mean, like you can see, there's a couple of creases, but they do not break color. So those can be pressed out like that. That can be pressed out. So it has pressable defects. So, as I'll show here, it does have the tattoos. So the tattoos are there. And ladies and gentlemen, I got myself now a second. I did have 3 of these, which, by the way, this is a fairly rare, pretty rare book. I can't say fairly rare. This is a pretty rare book with the tattoos, with the Mark Julius variant. And the one I sold was a 9.4. I have one coming back probably next month that I bought. That's probably a 9.0 to a 9.4. So now I have a third. Well, actually, I had 3 this year, but this is now my second because I just sold the other one. Now, this isn't going to be a 9.4 or a 9.2. With the faded cover, I don't know how much they'll take off for it because, like I said, and I'm talking about after a pressing, because when I send these to PGX, they're going to press them and dry clean them, and they do an amazing pressing job. So all of those color breaks you saw, most likely going to get them all out. But I'm curious as to see what the grade of this book would be after a pressing. Would it be a 5.0? Or would it be higher or lower? I'd love to hear your opinions because there's a lot. I've tried to look it up online, and there's so many people. Like, the only thing I saw were like CGC conversations with just general public. I didn't see anything from a professional grader. So I'd be curious. Obviously, I'm going to send this in to get graded the end of this month for the next month's batch of 4 comics. But let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, knowing that the rumors are that Ned Leeds is going to become the Hobgoblin, and they've pretty much set up the story in the last Spider-Man movie, what would you have paid for this book? Now, obviously, even if that's confirmed, and even if they make, a movie about it, until they put it out, anything could be canceled or anything could be changed. So there's never any guarantees. But something like that, like I said, they had already set up with the fact that his best friend, Ned Leeds, ends the movie. I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, that he doesn't remember him anymore. And in the middle of the movie, they had a conversation because when Ned Leeds was talking to the other Peter Parker, and he was talking about how he killed his best friend, how Ned Leeds went to this MCU Spider-Man and said, I'd never become a supervillain. Well, that was back when he remembered who he was. But at the end of the movie, remember, everybody forgets who Spider-Man is. So that is such a setup for the rumor to most likely come true. So I want to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what would you, knowing that you have the opportunity to buy this book, because this was a newly listed book, it had a buy it now or best offer. What would be the highest, knowing what I sold my 9.4 for, and how much a 2.0 of this book is currently trying to be sold on eBay, and how rare this book is? What would be the highest you would pay for this book? So I'm going to give a minute or two. Daniel says, Chris, any insight on how grading companies ding pull a fade? Like I said, I am not sure. But like I said, this has no color break increases, but it does have pressable defects. So it's going to be, if it wasn't faded, this would after a pressing, would probably be between an 8.5 and a 9.2, maybe higher. So I don't know, because like I said, it's only the front cover that's faded. So I don't know what the grade would be. Now we can all speculate, but that's all we'd be doing is taking a guess. So let's just say on the safe side, let's go mid-grade and say this would come back a 5.0, just to play it safe. With a Amazing Spider-Man 238 with the tattoos intact, with a Mark Julas variant, how much would be the maximum you would pay before shipping and taxes? If you're watching this later on, you could pause the video and leave a comment in the comment section. And if you're here live, let me know. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, when I told people how much I bought the highest graded one in that unboxing video I did, people thought I was crazy, and people thought that they would never do it. And I sold that book and did very well. And the person that bought it is going to do very well, especially if Ned Leeds becomes the Hobgoblin. This book to me is a no-brainer. I'm buying any key issue Mark Jewelers within reasonable price. I am buying up at this point. I am going to try and corner the market on Mark Jewelers because I see the potential of where they're going to go. And, so many different channels out there talk about how if a book's not rare, it's not worth getting, which I don't agree with anyway, because it doesn't matter if there's 5 million of them if 6 million people want them. But a book like this in a newsstand, a book like this with the tattoos, a book like this with the Mark Julas variant, you're talking about 5% of the total print run the day it was printed. So how many of them got lost? How many of them got the tattoos removed? How many of them got damaged? How many of them had the Mark Jewelers coupon cut out or written on? These things can change the quantity. So most people don't see the value in things. I'm glad I do, and I'm glad I don't listen to other people's naysaying, and I go with my own gut. Brian Norman says, "Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen," and then he said nothing else. I don't chase Mark Jewelers, so I'm at like 300. Well, Daniel, I highly recommend if you want to make a decent amount of money on a book that tends to be rare. I mean, like for example, GTK Comics has a 7.0 CGC, goes for almost $2,000. These are rare books. And like I said, if you look at how many of them for sale, there's maybe two, maybe four. And one of them I think is a 2.0 restored, and they want $700. No, I think it's 445. If somebody wants to look that up for me, there's a signed CGC 238 that is restored, and I think they want $445. So it's a restored version of this book. It's graded a 2.0. Yeah, it's signed, but who cares? And they want over almost $500. So how much would you pay for this one, knowing that, well, we can't guarantee it's not restored, but I doubt it. Um, it's a newsstand variant. It's a Mark Julas variant. It has the tattoos and is absolutely going to be higher than a 2.0. They wanted to sell this. Splash page. Hey, Splash, good to see you again. Conan 144 also has a tattoo. Yeah, there's a couple of books that have the tattoos, but I mean, you're talking compared to the first appearance of Hobgoblin to just a generic Conan issue, definitely not going to be the same thing. But yeah, I totally get that with that. And that might be another book, you know, it's not going to be a key book. So regardless of it has the tattoos or not, I mean, you're talking probably a $5 difference in value, in my opinion, most likely. But that's why I like going after the key issues. And somebody asked me a question yesterday. Is it worth getting Mark Jewelers? Well, it depends on the comic. There are a lot of Mark Jewelers out there for sale, but a lot of them are just generic comics that will maybe increase the price from a $2 book to a $7 book or a $5 book. So yeah, you can make money, but I mean, if you're going to make money by spending $2 on a book and selling it for 7, you know, you're going to retire by the age of 620. So unless you have a good amount of anti-aging cream, you're probably not going to want to go that route. As you see, all of the Mark Jewelers I get are going to be key issues, first appearances. There are plenty of them out there. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, there are Hulk 181s and Hulk 180s that have the Mark Julius variant. There are Amazing Spider-Man 129s, First Punisher, with the Mark Julius variant. I don't own any of those, but I just recently acquired, and I mailed it out already, an X-Men 94 with a Mark Julius. So those are going to be harder to be able to spot because they don't have the barcodes. They just look like the regular cover. So how many of you might actually, if you've never opened any of those Bronze Age books or Copper Age books, well, Copper Age will have the barcode. But let's say the Bronze Age keys, how many of you may have, like a needle in a haystack comic that you never opened and the person you bought it from never opened and find out it's got a Mark Julius variant in it? You're increasing that, depending on the grade, sometimes fivefold. So you may want to check these things. But let's put it into what I made a deal for. Now, like I said, you can go on eBay right now. Now, of course, anybody can list anything for anything, but we have to go by sales as well. But somebody is trying to list a 2.0 signed CGC of this book that is restored for about $450. Okay. This person was starting the offer. It was a buy it now or best offer. The buy it now is $469. I went back and forth with some prices, and I got to a point where I can only go so high, and they went higher twice. And I said, because it's faded, and it's not faded completely, but it is faded, it's like I can only pay a certain amount. So I said, this is the amount I can go to. If you can do it, I could pay for it right away. I always pay for my bids. I'll pay for it quickly. But if you can't do it, I completely understand and wish you the best of success. And lo and behold, the person contacted me, accepted my offer, even twice when they turned it down. So do not give up, ladies and gentlemen. This person, I offered it once, they turned it down. Then they came back, I offered it twice, they turned it down. And then the third time I was like, because they kept sending me other offers. And I said, listen, because it's faded, this is what I feel comfortable with. And if you can't do it, I completely understand. I wish you well, great success. But if you are interested and you can do it, I will buy it right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to worry about somebody not honoring a bid or taking forever to pay. I'll pay instantly. And they came back and accepted it. So my offer was, like Daniel said, 300. So I got this book for $300. So with eBay taxes and shipping, it came out to $336.52 for a book that is very rare, has the tattoos, as you saw, because I always open them up because you never want to assume that something's in there. Because I've had people have auctions where they showed an image and it wasn't in there, just like the one I had to return the other day. The what is it? Avengers 196, I believe it is, the first Taskmaster. It's either 194 or 196. I don't forget. I don't remember offhand. Um, but to have the Mark Julius variant in there, newsstand with the tattoos, in my opinion, even with the faded front cover, probably a 5.0 or higher. To get it for that price, many of you may not agree, many of you may not see the value, but I promise you, especially if they confirm and Ned Leeds, which by the way, they're saying the person that plays Ned Leeds has been mysteriously working out lately. Almost like he's trying to build up his body to become the Hobgoblin. Because there is not, well, with the DEI Disney nonsense they've been doing the past few years, I can see them doing a roundabout Hobgoblin. But the fact that he's working out means maybe after this whole Deadpool Wolverine thing is going to do so well, they're finally waking up or reawakening and saying, we got to get our poop together. And the rumor is that the actor, and I don't remember his name, that plays Ned Lead has been seen or heard of working out and getting in shape, which even more likely confirms that he is going to be playing the Hobgoblin. Of course, again, nothing is guaranteed. This to me, I'll be easily able to sell this book just like I have the other one. And like I always tell people, if you get multiple copies, you can sell one or trade one and still own the book. So I highly recommend doing that. Now, many people did not agree or did not say they would buy the book that I bought for almost 3 times this amount for the higher grade one. Turned around and sold it. Didn't even have the book for more than 2 or 3 months before it was sold. And somebody else saw the potential in that book and seeing what's the future of that book is going to be and the rarity of that book. So, you cannot force people to understand value, which for me, I love because then I don't have to worry about somebody else coming along and saying, oh, yeah, I'll buy it for the 400 and whatever amount, $469 plus tax and eBay, because that would have been closer to 500. And I stuck to my guns and I was willing to walk away because you have to have the attitude of, even with investments, even if it's something you want, you have to have the mindset of, I want it, but I don't need it. Now, if you were starving to death and somebody was going to hand you the only bit of food that you can have and it will keep you alive, and they're charging you 10 times the amount, it may seem unfair, but you're probably going to do the deal because it beats dying. But when it comes to a comic book, get that fear of missing out, get that emotion out of your mind, stop worrying about nonsense that people talk about, and play it right. If a person says no, then you can walk away. Or, like, I've had times where, I'm not going to lowball something. I'm not going to offer $50 for something like that because that's an insult. But I'm going to go what I think is fair. And there are times where I'll make an offer that they say is a little too low, and it's a book I really think even at a little bit higher is still going to be worth it, where I'll agree to their counter offer and I'll take it. Because if you can save, who doesn't want to save money? Anybody that doesn't want to save the most money on something is basically a flat out liar. But if something's worth, let's say for 1,000, and you tried to get it for 500, but someone is willing to meet in the middle, like around 750, and if it's worth 1,000, even though who wouldn't love to spend 500 on that book, 750 is not bad. So sometimes you just got to say, okay, I tried to get a lower price. The person's not budging. It's something that's worth it even at that price. So I'm not going to walk away from this because I could still make money. I'll just make less profit. I can live with that and then go for it. So again, I owned 3 copies of this year of this book, Amazing Spider-Man 238, Mark Jewelers newsstand variant with the tattoos in it. To get it under $400 in what's going to be minimum of a 5.0, in my opinion, and probably higher because again, it's only the front cover that's faded, and it's not faded completely. I mean, obviously, it went from red to orange, but you can see it's not like the red completely disappeared and turned white. So they're going to knock some points off it, and a pressing is definitely going to be needed for this book, but it's going to be between a 5.0 and a 7.5, depending on what the fading does. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So thank you for watching with that. But I want to open a couple of things just to make sure, because this is a deposit from one of my Patreon members. This is what I thought from the other day, that inspired me to do the video yesterday. So I just wanted to do this live. Hope faith fills your cup. So this is cool. Okay, so they did a personal check. Okay, so they did, okay, just to show, and I'm not going to show the other side. They gave 3 personal checks for the deposits because this person ordered 3 different books. I'm not giving dollar amounts. And then he wrote in here, here are 3 checks. You have a wonderful day and take care. Again, thank you. Same to you. And I'm going to save these cards because I think that's, you know, really cool that somebody did that. There we go. I don't want the full. So just to show on record that I got that. And then I'm going to show this. I'm not going to say who this is from, but just so the person, if they're watching or if they're right now on the live show, just to let you see, I did receive your package, and I believe this is another payment because I do the payment plans for my auctions, and People really appreciate that. I don't charge interest. I don't charge taxes. It pays to be flexible. I grew up old school back in the days of a thing called layaway. So if you're old like me, you know what layaway is. Basically, layaway is you put money down on something you want to get, the store holds on to it until you pay for it, and once you pay for it, you get the item. So he did do also a random act of kindness. So I am going to give a shout out to who it is. So here is this person sent, I know what's in there, but this is very nice of him that he did this. Love this cover. Bought this not the day it came out, but I bought this back in the 80s. Web of Spider-Man #1. Definitely a frameable type of comic. And he sent me a classic X-Men #2. So Daniel, it was Daniel Cochran that did that. So thank you. And I wanted to do this publicly. So this way, you know, when I saw that, I thought there might be comics in there. So I wanted to make sure I did it live. So this way, not only you could see, I got what was in the envelope here, but just in case if there was something additional, I wanted to make sure I put it out there. So let me just, okay. Let me just make sure you didn't get the numbers wrong, because if you gave me too much, I want to make sure I spot on. Okay, Daniel, just so you know, you have it on record. I will deduct that. Also, the same with the other person that gave the 3 checks. I will deduct those. So, yeah, that's very nice of you, Daniel, to send those comics, and I will deduct it in this way. You know what I'm going to do to make it easier, because then I'm going to be, it might get confusing. I'm just going to deduct from the total. And once the total is the level of the first comic you want, I'll have that book mailed out to you, because I know that you have very limited videos you can do, and I know you don't want to wait for all. I don't know if you bought 2 or 3. I think you bought 2 books. Yeah, 2, because you were thinking about a third, but you can't do it right now. Um, the easiest way to do it, so I don't get confused, because I have a lot of different sales that are going on. I mean, I literally have about 12 different sales for this auction. Um, I'm just going to deduct it from your total. And when the total reaches the full amount for one of the books, if you want that one sent out, I'll send that out. So this way it just doesn't get confusing. So the payment sent, thank you for that. I appreciate that. To the other person as well, thank you for the card. I thought that was very nice of you. Those books, that was very nice of you. I mean, that Web of Spider-Man #1 definitely brings back some memories. And I would love to hear what you guys think about this book. So let's pick today's surprise subscriber shout outs. If you want to talk about my AI art in the cover, you could put a comment in the comment section. Love seeing people's comments. Don't forget our. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot. My apologies. I forgot to mention the new people, because I stopped at one point. Dan L, Tim N, and Annabelle N. I think I might have done it, but I want to make sure just in case. Annabelle N is the very newest member. And also, if you have Instagram, go to Silver Age Surfer _comics and tell him We Love Comics sent you. So I think I forgot his at the end, because I don't know, I go on tangents sometimes, and I go in 500 different directions. So shout out to our Patreon members. We are up to 12 Patreon members. If we can get to 20, the contest starts. So once again, this is it. If we get 20 paid members, so we're only 8 away, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/we love comics and join my Patreon. And again, you get 1 entry for every $2 you apply to your monthly Patreon account with We Love Comics. And again, I'd love to get one of those trades. So if you can if you know anybody, you can message somebody that has one of these books or any of these books, or if you have an extra one, or one, or you just are tired of, having a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 first print, and you'd love to have one of my Hulk Wayne 81s and a bunch of other comics that I listed in that video, please contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. So today's surprise subscriber shout outs in the live chat are as follows: Paul Ferris, And we're going to go with Splash Page Comics. You are both today's surprise subscriber shoutouts, which means once this video uploads, you can go into the comment section and put a link to either your YouTube channel or a specific video, or if you'd rather do a link to one of your social networks, you could do that instead. Or if you sell anything on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, any of those places, as long as the links don't take you anywhere inappropriate and therefore suitable for all ages, I will approve every single link from my surprise subscriber shoutouts. So once you enter a link, it's not going to be showing up right away. It's going to go directly into spam. This keeps spammers and trolls from putting maybe pornography links or OnlyFans links or just inappropriate links out there. So I will verify it. So if you see a link in the comment section, it means it was verified and it will take you to where it's supposed to go, which is kid friendly. Now, it doesn't have to be comic book related. It could be sports cars. It could be tennis rackets. It could be sneakers. But as long as it's not a prank channel or, like I said, OnlyFans accounts or anything inappropriate for children, I will promote it. So one thing I recommend is if you're going to post a link, don't just post a link in the comment section. Introduce yourself, put some effort into it. Tell people if they click on the link where it's going to take them to, and help yourself to be able to get somebody to click on your link. So I also sell mystery boxes. If you want to check it out in the live chat or in the description, I put a link to my Peaceful Feelings website. You'll see a bunch of pyramids and stuff in the top part of it. That is the right place because I make things like organic soaps and crystal pyramids and stuff like that. Just scroll to the bottom to the comment section. The comic mystery boxes, each box has 20 comics in it. Anywhere from a basic package of $25 where you're just going to get generic comics if for people who maybe just love to read books and want some comics that are going to be worth more than what you're paying for, up to a platinum package of 20 comics for 5,000, and you're definitely going to get some good books in there. So if you want to give it a try, please check out my website. Again, link is in the description, or it's also in the live chat. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your comments. If you want to hit the like button, that's awesome. If you want to hit thumbs down because you don't like what I do, by all means, please do. But I would ask you, why are you wasting your time and energy on something you may not like? To each their own. But hey, if you want to hit the thumbs down, it makes you feel better. I will be happy to allow you to feel good by hitting the thumbs down because that's how we should be. So thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Let's get this contest rolling. 8 more people can make it happen. Join us at Peaceful Feelings. Well, actually, it is, like you see here, it is patreon.com/We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next video. And don't forget, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. And